Alrighty, I have a construction update for you guys today, and boy, things were going so good. They were going so good, and then we hit a bump in the road. Our first big bump in the road. And before I get started, I just want to remind everyone that I do not know what I'm talking about, and that I make assumptions and guesses based off of what I'm seeing before me. And as you guys are watching the video today, you may form your own opinions and assumptions as well. So I'm going to give you my opinion of what happened. It is a 42-minute long video to just summarize what I watched happen today. Obviously, it's nothing serious because they did continue a little bit of vertical construction afterwards. And if it was a serious incident or a serious setback, they would have stopped construction. I do think this is going to add an additional day or two to construction, which is a little upsetting. But we'll have to wait and see what construction looks like. Are they going to work on Saturday? Are they going to take until Monday off? Are they going to take until Tuesday off? Or are they going to, what's going to happen? So those are things that we are waiting to see as well. So I need to see how this weekend plays out. And I need to see what happens with a specific support column. If you watch the clips very carefully, you'll pick up on what happened today. Obviously, nothing outside of an alignment issue. By the way, I just want to get started. Just to correct myself because it sounded a little more dramatic than it needed to just there for a second. But yes, based off of what I saw today, I am making an assumption that there was an alignment issue, and that the support column was removed to go get measured for a plate to be installed between the track piece and the support column. That is an assumption. Please take that with a grain of salt, and understand that I am just a construction documenter with a drone, and I am making assumptions based off of what I'm seeing here. So as long as you understand that and you know to not take me too seriously, then these videos are great and this topic of discussion can continue. With that being said, as you can see, they are finally loading in a piece of track that you can see sticking out of the mountain finally. So we're able to finally see it, and if things had gone perfectly, they probably would have finished the entire Tower 1 today and then moved on to Tower 2 the next day. However, they ran into an alignment issue, which you'll see in this video play out before your eyes right now. So I've left in all the footage because you guys seem to be really enjoying these long videos, kind of like the finale of AlpenFury, and watching it play out and watching them in real time complete tasks. So hopefully you guys do like this. I'm going to do my talking bit at the beginning of the video, and then I'll just transition into music with the clips. And in today's specific video, watch closely and, again, make your own assumptions and beliefs on what happened. But based off what I saw on the drone, this track piece, this was filmed at 1 p.m. They lower it in. They tried to align it. I came back at about 5:30, 6:30 p.m., flew between that entire 2-hour period, and they were still working on trying to get this track piece attached to that horizontal support column that you'll see, and it just wasn't working. So they ended up removing the support column. In the clip, by the way, I want to say this because I'm not going to be talking when it plays. It's going to look like that support column hits something and bounces. But if you look very closely, that's not what happens. It's actually a guy on a cherry picker with a yellow rope that pulls on it to prevent it from hitting anything. So just watch carefully because some of you are going to make the assumption that the support column hit something and that's why it was removed. It was getting removed long before that happened. It has nothing to do with that. So I just wanted to clarify that because we even had to watch it a couple times. We're like, oh, did that hit something? And then we noticed the guy in the cherry picker pull on the rope to prevent it from swinging down. And that's why it bounced back up so quickly, because those things are winched really well. With that being said, you are about to watch just the I guess to the construction team, probably the most annoying thing you can come across as a vertical construction team, and it's not their fault. It's an alignment issue. These things happen. You know, we've seen it on Yukon Striker, other coasters out there. You end up having to do steel plating, drilling in another bolt, finding a workaround. So from what I understand, this track piece most likely headed back to the maintenance bay over near Major Mackenzie. and it is going to be measured, and they're going to get a plate to put in between the track piece and that support column. Again, that's an assumption. Outside of that, a lot of the fencing is going in. That's what they've been working on, and the electrical. Still a lot of work going on in the station area with shingles and getting the landscaping done. And yeah, we are definitely cutting it very close. Again, this is technically day 6, but with what happened today, I do consider this possibly a 1 to 3 day setback. But we'll have to wait and see how long it takes to measure that and get a plate made, hopefully in time for when vertical starts again. They did continue vertical construction after removing that. You'll see that in this video as well. And they brought in some track pieces as well. So again, I'm hoping based off of what we're seeing, it's not a setback. And that it's just something that they can quickly fix over the weekend. And then once they return to do vertical construction, they can continue. Anyways, thank you so much for watching these videos. That is all I have to say on AlpenFury. At the very end of the video, there's a really cool shot of Leviathan testing. I did get the testing in the park today. I have fallen behind on my testing videos as I work to get these daily construction updates out to you guys. I know you guys care more about these than the testing, so I have prioritized the construction videos for you. But I do have all the rides testing. I'll probably just do one master video of Behemoth, Leviathan, Yukon, and all the flat rides, the fly, and all that. But yeah, at the end, there's a really cool shot that I took some time to film for you. Thanks so much. Have a good one. Bye, guys.